J Coffee on the vid, and what up, everyone? J Coffee on the vid, and you see we're talking about DMX. Now, I've been reporting on my channel here and there on the comeback of DMX. I know a lot of other hip hop fans, just like me, I really excited and amped to see this new DMX project that's on the way, and from my understanding, should be coming very soon. DMX, in my opinion, is a very special hip-hop artist, always been a favorite of mine, came into the game, just made history, and just those two back-to-back albums, #1, debuting at #1 in his first year in the game, and, just everything X did was amazing, but we all know, he fell off, and has made some attempts at, a comeback and everything. But this time around, it's looking really promising. We've seen DMX put on weight. He seemed to stay sober for quite some time. And I just did a recent interview and spoke on something that we all been known, was a big part of X's fall off from, the top of the rap game, his addiction, his drug use. And he was very emotional. And he shared something that happens all too often in the streets.
And he passed the ball around. And tonight, it was his birthday, and we came back. We split the money. I said, "Here, take this. Go get something. Last for your birthday, whatever." So we came back with a blunt rolled up. And as I'm counting the money, he likes the blunt. And I said, I was impressed. I don't really smoke. Nigga, fuck out it. And he passed the ball around, and wow. And I hit the blunt, and I'm like, I was no longer focused on the money. I never felt like this. Like it just fucked me up. I'm like, the fuck. And, I later found out that he laced the blunt with the crack.
So you know what I mean? That was just a clip right there, but you heard X, someone that he looked up to very much, laced the blunt, put some work in there, put some heart in there, some crack. And I've known of this happening to numerous people. I'm sure anyone, get in the comments, anyone, if you've experienced this in your life, or you've known of it happening, like you've just seen it one way or another firsthand. The streets are grimy, man. And addiction is something I speak on, from time to time on this channel. And it's crazy, obviously we know this is something DMX battled with from way back. And when we're talking about this going on, he's 14 or 15 years old. You know what I mean? He spent from the age of 7 to 14, I believe he said, in detention centers and group homes and things of that nature. And then, when he was back in the streets doing what he had to do to survive, this individual that did this to him, like I said, X said he looked up to this guy like a brother, was in his 30s and did this to X. You know what I mean? Laced the blunt on him. And fast forward to where we are now, you know what I mean? We've seen X just have problems with this nonstop, and I'm really happy to see where X is at now. Like I said, there's been times before X has come home from rehab and shown some progress as far as sobriety, and has failed multiple times. And this time around, I'm really, I've said this before on my channel, but hey, I'm serious. I really think X has got it together. In this interview, it was very emotional. He was very on point, though, very sober. And something else that he tapped in and shared, which is important, you know what I mean, is that therapeutically, aside from being sober and everything of that nature, you know what I mean, and trying to be healthier, he's also getting healthier mentally, that he's really been able to tackle some of the issues, things of his past and things of that nature in therapy. And he spoke about how important that was and is, you know what I mean? Get in the comments, guys, and let me know if you've seen this interview with Talib Kweli. You know what I mean? X shared that you gotta at one point or another in your life, if you're trying to get on that right path, you gotta get all that stuff off your chest and really deal with it, trauma and different things of that nature. And he said you just gotta find the right person, whether it be a therapist or however, and get that all straightened out, you know. And that's something, you know, we know in this day and age, we often hear about how the world is too sensitive, or, you know, certain issues become a thing, or just, you know what I mean? Like things are too politically correct and stuff like that. And, you know, in this situation, mental health and people not being ashamed of their problems and dealing with them or being open about them, which I'm not saying you got to go running around talking about, you know, things you've been through in your life to everyone. It's not what I mean. I'm just saying mental health is something that people are more open about these days, and it's not necessarily looked at as you're crazy or it's a weakness or something. You know what I mean? So that's something very good about the times changing. But getting back to what I was saying, man, this stuff happens every day. You know, people in the streets have drugs pushed on them, or you know, have drugs laced, or, you know, like they're manipulated into different things, and it's ugly out there, man. And another thing that I spoke on numerous times on this channel, like aside from people doing foul stuff like this, we just live in a time where drugs are dirty. And when I mean that, like I'm saying, it's not like you're smoking with someone you don't know and you know, they lace the blunt. I'm talking about there's just drugs hitting the streets dirty, you know, laced with fentanyl, laced with all kinds of other substances that can kill your ass. You know what I mean? Like, it's a dangerous time. I've said this numerous times. It's a dangerous time to be experimenting with drugs, you know, where in the past, you know, if people kept things within reason and didn't get too out of control, you know, it'd be like, oh yeah, when I was coming up, I tried this or I tried that. Like nowadays, you could just try something and that could be the last thing you ever do. You know what I mean? But getting back, you know, to just strictly talking about the music and hip hop, I'm really feeling good about DMX's comeback. It just seems like perfect timing. You know, things had got so ugly for X. I mean, there was numerous times his addiction got him into horrible situations. I'm sure you guys all might have seen that there was a situation back in the day where X was like, went on a binge and, you know, was held up into a hotel, and when his peoples came to get him out of there, there was a gun involved. The gun went off, and you know what I mean? Someone else took the rap, and then, you know, X, like I said, would be on and off trying to get clean, binging out over and over the years. And then recently, around 2014, 2015, it would look like DMX was, you know, doing other substances and almost died. And, you know, for me as a hip hop fan, something that I always refer to, tapping in the comments, you know, to all the X fans out there. If you remember X's first drink, I believe he was on Drink Champs more than once. The first time he was, if there was more than once, it was one of the first episodes of Drink Champs. And it was flat out like hard to watch. And I'm not trying to sound over dramatic or nothing, but X looked bad. He had like no voice. He was like, he was just like tweaking, you know, at times just not making any sense. Like it was hard to watch, you know. But fast forward, going to the feds and a couple rehab stints later, and where we are now, X, you know, back in the lab, working with the Locks, working with the Ruff Ryders family, and just seeming like he's healthier than ever. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward. I'm happy for DMX. Like, get in the comments, guys. Let me know your thoughts about all this. And I bet you that new album is going to be a banger, man. So that's all I got, guys. It's Jay Coffee Talk. Remember, it's grimy out there in them streets. That's why I don't try to preach, but I always try to, you know, put things out on this channel from a reality aspect. And the streets is way more sad, tragic endings than happy endings. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. Make sure to sub to the channel, hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'm gone. Peace.